We debated whether we were going to talk about this. And then we decided that we needed to talk about it. Because as I said, I think in the first episode, one of the drivers for this pod was amplifying female voices in crypto. And the three of us have spent a lot of time. I can definitely say I've spent a lot of time, a lot of advocacy, a lot of arguments, and I use arguments intellectually, saying that this space is not filled with crypto bros. I hate that terminology. It's still used on the reg by legislators, and it drives me nuts. Obviously, the three of us are the farthest thing from a crypto bro you can get. I mean, I am a Midwestern mom, okay? So, not a bro. But what happened last week? I think everybody may have seen this news. If you didn't, we're going to tell you about it. Consensus, a fantastic conference. It really was excellent. Great vibes, high quality attendance. I really like and respect the CoinDesk team. I think that their reporting is excellent. I have nothing but good things to say about Consensus substantively. This is not about Consensus, the conference. This is about crypto holistically on a cultural question, meaning what happened last week is that the official Consensus after party, as we mentioned on last week's pod very briefly, was held at a club with strippers. Just going to pause there for a second. Here's the problem with this. The strippers are not the problem. We are not demonizing the strippers. I have nothing wrong with sex work, okay? That's not what this podcast is about. The problem is that the official after party included strippers at the venue. Why is that problematic? Because culturally, crypto should be inclusive. Crypto should be about people, every kind of people, every gender, every persuasion, here for the underlying technology, not here for the parties. And strippers are going to make people uncomfortable, not just women, I may add.
No,
there
I'm
are
sorry.
men that.
Sorry to interrupt. It's not strippers that make people uncomfortable. It's having an official sanctioned party at a club that is not considering all the types of people that are involved in crypto. And let me just be clear here. We should not have to get on this pod and explain why this is inappropriate and wrong. There are so many amazing people in crypto that are not comfortable in that kind of situation. And they're not just females, but let's just start there because that's the kind of pod that this is. And the fact not only that this happened, like stuff like this happens and people like make mistakes and the planning is wrong. The fact that there has been zero accountability for this is what is really grinding my gears. And Unchained told me I was allowed to curse as much as I want on this pod. So that may come out, but it's fucking ridiculous to me that there has not been someone who has come out from the organizing side of this and said, this was a mistake. This is not representative of what our crypto industry is. And to top it all off, there have not been big voices or big organizations, trades in crypto that have come forward and said, look, we don't represent this as an industry. And we want to be inclusive, and particularly around the clarity conversations, for someone to not come forward and say like, hey, Congress, maybe just appreciate the fact that we are trying to build a real financial market here for consumers to have additional financial access, and not just males that want to go to strip clubs, everybody. I think all females on this pod, plus many females in crypto who are listening, have had horrible experiences at conferences where I personally have been asked if I was an escort that was hired at one of the first crypto conferences I went to. And we tolerate so much. And it's just part of being in the industry, unfortunately. But when you don't have the organizations that you support and you work for every single day coming forward and saying, hey, we are the trade of crypto and we think this is wrong, it's ridiculous to me. Not to mention that like the organizers couldn't come forward.
Yep. I just want to say before V has a chance to weigh in as well, this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. There's no other word for it. I think particularly as a female who's been in crypto for years, I'm certainly comfortable with a male-dominated environment. You know, I was a partner at a law firm in the white-collar defense practice, also a male-dominated environment. Can't even count how many dinners I've been at where it's me and a bunch of men. There's something problematic about it. But all the male listeners, I would like you to put yourself in an environment where you were at a club and you were one of the only men at the club. Fine. Okay. A little weird, but fine. Maybe you're having fun. And then there's a whole bunch of naked men dancing around you. How would you feel? Would you feel like you were in an inclusive environment? Or would you feel like this was an uncomfortable environment and you needed to maintain your professionalism? Gender put aside, this is just an unprofessional environment. No one is saying that the consensus attendees couldn't go to a strip club after consensus, or someone could host a side event that had strippers. Fine. I mean, this is America. God bless America. People could do whatever they want, but it's a lack of professionalism. You've maintained very quiet,
Yeah.
you know,
I
elegant
mean,
demeanor. Get
I
get angry with us.
yeah,
Tweet
like
us.
I agree with everything you guys just said. The reason I'm being quiet is because it's shocking to me that this isn't all incredibly obvious. Like the organizations that represent the industry all should have made statements that would have shown leadership and courage. I'm disappointed that that didn't happen. Um, this like you were saying, right? This is not a knock on the club. I actually think it's a really cool club. I've been there a few times, and the club is very unique. It's very neat. The workers there are awesome. So this is not about that. It's about, like you said, it's about holding an industry event, a professional event in that sort of environment is wildly inappropriate. So I don't have much to add. I mean, I got a ton of texts from friends who are not in crypto asking me, did this actually happen? And it was embarrassing. I was like, yes, it did actually happen. I wasn't there, but I could see why it seems unbelievable to you. But yes, so agree with everything you guys said. I don't have that much to add because, like I said, I think all of this should go without saying that this was not okay.
And I think two excuses that have been levied about not coming out with statements damning this are it's the now I'm forgetting the specific term for it, but if you give more attention, you'll draw more attention by making statements to this. So like let's just let this go away. I think that's a cop out, unfortunately. And B, obviously, the timing of the clarity markup happened pretty much immediately after this. I will say that second excuse is somewhat more valid to me. Like we need to focus on clarity. We need to focus on this, on something positive as opposed to something negative. However, I would also like to remind people how much this narrative of official crypto conference after parties with strippers hurts our policy efforts because it feeds into this misperception, or what should be a misperception, that many partisan naysayers have about our industry. So nothing good came of this. So a moment of silence there, but really,
Yeah. I can do that one all day, but I just agree with you. I think courage is the right word, V, and I'm just embarrassed by the lack of courage, that, people will just tweet all day about every single thing on their mind or any sort of potential regulatory news, but they can't stand up for our industry. And, people that say it's not gonna make a difference to stand up at this point, it will make a difference. I think we're all explaining why right now.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, on that note, I'd like to turn this to the positive side of things.
Yeah.
Our crypto good news is just the fact that there are a whole bunch of companies out there, including shout out to Consensus, the MetaMask Consensus, that somehow there was some signage at the club. They came out with a very strong statement saying that this was unacceptable. So shout out to MetaMask Consensus and the other organizations which spoke up about this. But B, there's a lot of really fantastic companies that seek to add all forms of diversity and different perspectives in their ranks. B, there are still a ton of really incredible women in this space, despite the fact that we need to hang out with strippers to work in this industry. Despite the fact that I once went to a side event that turned out to be held at a sex shop. That was also fun. I mean, we could go on and on with stories here. But I want to say to the women who are still here, to the allies who are still here that find this unacceptable and, do what they can to increase the inclusivity in this space that is for everyone. Shout out to you. You are our good news for the week. So I would say spread the word, do a good deed, hug a woman this week. Actually, don't hug a woman. Maybe just ask her if she would like a hug.
If she consents to it, then it's okay.
Yeah, ask her if she consents to a hug. Maybe just a high five or a wave or a smile or a retweet.
That was a clip from Dex in the City, where the wallets are cold and the takes are hot. And we've got a lot more in the full episode. Links in the show notes. I'm host Jessi Brooks. Subscribe and join us on the live stream every Tuesday at noon Eastern.
A 3% top off on my entire portfolio? Yes. Who is saying no to that? That's free money. I don't care what's in your portfolio. That's a yes. If you've been looking for an excuse to consolidate your assets, this is it. Until May 31st, Coinbase is giving a straight 3% Bitcoin boost on any crypto or cash deposits all month. Coinbase One is the ultimate membership to make the most of your money, which, as you know, is how I optimize my finances. Zero trading fees on thousands of crypto assets, 3.5% APY on USDC, boosted staking and lending rewards, and up to 4% Bitcoin back with the Coinbase One card. Plus, you can still claim 20% off the first year of Coinbase One annual plans, a $50 Bitcoin bonus when you spend $100 on a new Coinbase One card in the first 30 days through May 31st. Plus, your share of 5 Bitcoin if you outpredict pro basketball coach Lethal Shooter, and a chance at a private shooting session with him. It's the perfect time to centralize your assets and maximize your earnings. Get your 3% boost at coinbase.com/unchained. Visit coinbase.com/unchained. That's coinbase.com/unchained to claim your Bitcoin bonus. No purchase necessary. See rules and other ways to enter. Terms apply to other offers. Futures, swaps via Coinbase Financial Markets. Risk of 100% loss. Payouts event-based. Not investment advice. Not available in Nevada. Coinbase One Card is offered through Coinbase Inc. and Cardless Inc. Cards issued by First Electronic Bank. Bitcoin back rates are based on cardholders' assets on Coinbase.